My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Shadows Over Loathing, where in the end of the last episode we saved Charles Wallace from the swamp. Thanks again for the rescue, Ryan. Had there been corned beef with a side of eggs if you hadn't shown up. Ah, it was nothing, Charles. I basically followed your wrenches. Here's your wrenches back, by the way. Nice. I knew these babies would come in handy someday. Wait, don't you use them for, like, wrenching? Well, the 7/8ths, yeah, the 255th, 256? Well, not so much. Gotcha. Anything else I can help you with? Not right now, Charles. I can uncurse this in the machine. In fact, I will do. Uncurse. I'd like to uncurse the cursed key. The key jumps up to the roof of the dome and sticks there, shaking and keening. That's the sound keys make. Against the metal. The light in the stores whine, flicker, and cut out completely. Dang it! Wait it out. Only when the power is out does the key calm down, give up the most odious part of itself to the machine, and drop down into your lap. Light returns to the store. Fixed it! You had a spare light bulb under the cat. You got an item, the uncursed key. An accessory that gives 30% extra to item drops. Putting that terrible key on a chain has rendered it decorative. The key's curse lingers in the machine. It itself is an arcane lock, to be solved only with the projection of consciousness. I do it.
I have assembled everyone as you've asked, Detective. The victim's wife and the two men who were present in the passenger car at the time. I confess the truth of this murder continues to elude me, and no doubt you too soon are to enlighten us with your great powers of deduction and observation.
May I inspect the body again?
No, that wouldn't be fair to the other passengers who haven't had a look yet.
I see.
But I will tell you what I know. At 11:13 a.m., the professor dropped dead in his chair after sitting down with his wife for a cup of tea. At the time, Mrs. Kenshi and Mr. Andretti were the only other passengers present in his car. Mr. Perry returned later. The rest I leave for you to deduce, Detective.
Alright. We're gonna need some information, I imagine. Let me get this old pad out. This is a reporter's pad as well, so it feels like, you know, it's appropriate in this instance. Turn past the page of Australian comedians. I wrote the... There's just a page here listing Australian comedians who I think would be good on Taskmaster. Paul McDermott, Sean McAuliffe, Ross Noble, he lives in Australia, that counts. Myth Warhurst, Will Anderson, it goes on. Right. At 1:13 is time of death. TOD. Okay, and that is when, Mrs. Ryu and Mr. And were the only passengers present in the car. Mr. Perry returned later. So then, at a later time, Mr. Perry. The rest I leave for you to deduce. Excellent. I need but a moment. Okay. Excellent. Niccolo Andretti, a businessman. I will interrogate you. The businessman Andretti adjusts his cufflinks. I told you, I've never heard of this man. I know of Boardwalk College, of course, it's an institution, it is excellent. But I didn't know that he was a professor here. Now, come on, let us not delay our journey any further. I'm traveling with 19 suitcases of exotic rubber to make new and exciting wheels at the factory. Detective mode. You observe closer to see what you can deduce. Exotic rubber, eh? What? Exotic rubber, eh? No doubt from the jungles of Almodovar, no, whose local brand of nicotine I smell on his collar. Of course, the rubber plants of Almodovar don't just yield material for bouncy tires, but an odorless poison, lethal when drunk in hot tea. But why would this man abet the murder of a stranger? I suspect the answer lies in the resume on the table and the name printed on it, Martin Perry. Interesting. Martin Perry was applying for a job under Andretti. Yume Kenshi, the victim's wife. The widow Kenshi dabs her eyes with a handkerchief embroidered with words, mourning rags and wipes.
A moment's privacy, please, detective. I had nothing to do with my husband's death and no reason to want him gone. He was a kind man and not a rich one. Everything he made he spent on the roulette tables. He owned over 700 of them. That's the largest collection in the world. We were travelling to Yorba Linda so the mayor could give my husband the key to the city, but that won't happen now.
Detective mode. You deduce you should make some observations. Sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. She says she has no reason to wish her husband dead, but the chemical stain on her cuticles and the fingerprints on the window above, which she opened to suppose of the murder weapon, tells the tale more truly. But the nose reveals even more. Observe the zigzag pattern of the cleft medial brow below the nostrils. It's called Petrie's philtrum, and it is a rare genetic condition which she shares with Martin Perry, her son. Martin Perry, a youth, interrogate. The young man is absent-mindedly but methodically disassembling and reassembling a fountain pen.
Oh, it's as I said, misters. Yes, the man was a professor of mine at old Bergenworth College, he was, and yes, he gave me a C and a D, he did. But that's no reason to kill a man, wouldn't you agree? Besides, at the time of his death, I was in the laboratory trying to figure out what all the bits and pieces do. The perfect alibi, wouldn't you agree, sir?
Detective mode. Engage. Deductive observations wing about your mind. He's right. He must see and D no reason to kill someone's professor, but is that the whole story? Observe how the boy tinkers with a fountain pen and the train laboratory. He fancies himself a mechanic. But he couldn't step foot in the door of that profession if the C and D stood for car dance. Nobody would be able to hire him. Unless the professor who awarded those ignominious grades died. In that event, every grade he ever gave would be voided, and this young man could take a plum job in car manufacture and start earning the big bucks. Everyone is lousy with motive. The train coroner. Excuse me? Is this train dead?
Yes, detective.
Tell me again what you know of this case.
At 11:13, the professor dropped dead in his chair after sitting down with his wife for a cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
At that time, Mrs. Kenshi and Mr. Andretti were the only other passengers present in the car. Mr. Perry returned later. The rest, I'll leave to you to deduce, detective.
Well, that is important. If I use my knowledge from other conversations, maybe I can go back to a previous one and push them further in detective mode. As it turns out, no, I cannot do that. However, the rubber tires of Almodovar do not just give yielded material for bouncy tires, but also an odorless poison. Lethal when drunk in hot tea. Hot tea. Lethal when drunk in hot tea. Well, Yume Kenshi. Mourning rags and wipes. Well, as we know from the widow, that sometimes the answer is simple and correct. She had no reason to wish her husband dead, but the chemical stain in her cuticles and the fingerprints on the window above, which she opened to dispose of the murder weapon. Why do you say that she opened to dispose of the murder weapon? We are not necessarily familiar with the murder weapon. Although Martin Perry, her son, He was a kind man, not a rich one. Everything he made on the roulette tables. He owns over 700 of them. Okay, the youth. He's right, Emil. C&D is no one to reason to kill a boy's professor. He fancies himself a mechanic. Observe how the boy tinkers with the fountain pen and with the train lavatory. Has he whistled with the... If I was a lavatory... So, besides, at the time of his death, I was in the lavatory trying to figure out what all the bits and pieces do. I don't want the ambiguity though. As this is self-mechanic, you wouldn't get hired unless the professor who awarded those grades died. Trying to get a job in car manufacture. Niccolo Andretti deals with wheels. So deals with car manufacture. Exciting wheels at the factory, he says. And there's a resume here for Martin Perry. So Martin is the son of the widow and presumably the corpse. And is applying to be part of businessman Andretti's company. I mean, so if you poison someone, surely you want to have an alibi, right? Not be in the room when they are deceased. Why would this man abet the murder of a stranger? I wonder if what really has happened here is he provided that rubber to Martin Perry, who then used it for his own motive. It doesn't seem like Andretti did it, right? Andretti doesn't really... They don't seem to have a motive? The wife? Also doesn't super seem to have a motive. This guy totally has a motive. Wasn't in the room at the time, but there is a methodology with which he could have done it. I'm gonna point the finger at him. I have solved the murder.
It was never in doubt, Detective. Now tell us all what happened here.
The victim was poisoned by a giant dog. No, Martin Perry.
Oh, hold on now, that's claptrap, everybody, that's claptrap it is.
Please, all will become clear. The victim was poisoned by Martin Perry with the exotic poison from the Almodovar rubber tree. Out of to void his card and grades so that he could make tires for Mr. Andretti. Yep.
Ludicrous.
I give that B for balderdash, I would, sirs.
Careful now. Don't be a fool. You're gifted with great power. Great powers of deduction and observation now. Come on. Use them.
No, that's not how it happened? Okay, well, I shall take my leave. Okay, well, are there additional pieces of evidence here that we are yet to discuss? There is, only the people we have spoken to. The relic of another time. A dish here left unserved. Well, that was my best guess. And as a result, I don't have a better guess than it because I went with the best one first. I know. Silly me. I should have started with my second best and moved up from there. The professor who awarded those ignominious grades. Is this meal over here a clue at all? Is the idea that maybe Niccolo is trying to swoop in on the victim's wife, the widow here in this situation? I've solved the murder. The victim was... It has to be poisoned. But it cannot be Martin Perry who has done it, otherwise... we would know. A Yume Ryo Kenshi. I do not know what her what is the word I'm looking for? Motive? Okay, no, I may now know her motive. I've completely changed the accent of this character. One sec, we're going back to French. Her motive is very much in the realm of something along the lines of maybe like Martin is her son and she wants Martin to get a job, so she has to kill her husband. You may rock, Kenshi. With the exotic poison of the Almodovar rubber tree, out of to void Martin Perry's cadence grade so that he could make tires for Mr. Andretti. The victim was poisoned by Yumero Kenshi with the exotic poison of the Almodovar rubber tree to void Martin Perry's cadence grade so that he could make tires for Mr. Andretti. Young Martin Perry dreams of working on cars, and the fresh ideas excite Mr. Andretti, who runs a car factory, but Master Perry's professor has effectively blacklisted him as cadence, unemployable. What to do? Kill the professor, of course, and void that odious grade. Here the plot becomes most wretched. Master Perry's mother, Yume Ryokenshi, marries the professor and arranges for him to be present on the very same train as Master Perry and Mr. Andretti, who supplies an undetectable poison administered by Ms. Ryokenshi. Et voila! No more professor, no more cadence. But there is one thing our three conspirators did not count on. Me. Pause for applause.
I'm not ashamed. Any parent, sir, would do the same thing.
As would any manager seeking a new talent of interesting ideas about tires.
If you call me a cadence, misters, you're branding me for life and you're responsible for anything that happens next, sir.
How awful. All three of them in it together. Tell you what, detective, at the next stop they can all get out and take the bus.
A sick business.
Quite so, but a wonderful feeling to be possessed of great gifts, great powers of deduction and observation, and to use them. Here's another gift, a gift that is. Call it a reward.
A mysterious outring. A gift from the train coroner in a dream or something. I take the ring.
Nice ring, isn't it? Look what rewards accrue to the powerful. Look how the world itself reveals at your touch.
I must take my leave. I hope you have all learned a lesson here today, and that is to never mess with me. Never. You're not gonna manage to come out on top, buds. Alright. Now, cursing Christine was not made to store this many curses. There's a keys curse and a fishing rod curse still in it if I wanted to continue interacting with those. I don't, but if I wanted to, I could, but I don't, so I won't. I'm really tempted to just change his accent every single time. Time to pick a fourth store? Right. The first applicant's Bertram's Bakery. Bert's a buddy of mine from the old restaurant days, makes a good loaf. The second is La Table Enchante. It's a high-end kitchen store, magical utensils and stuff. And the last applicant's Ye Old Chemica. Some SIT science lady wants to sell potions. Potion store! Okay, I'll get them moved in and get the new storefront ready for applicants. Thanks, Charles! You find a hook on one of the ceiling beams and hang up your new refrigerator, and you place your glowy orb thing on the knick-knack shelf. The refrigerator gives us a Gatorman Cola. The only reason this isn't the worst beverage you can imagine is you can imagine the same beverage except warm. I consider, nay, ponder the orb. Orb touched. +1 marks it, baby. You played the plasma ball in your room and it elevated your spirits and outlook on life. Okay. Oh, you shouldn't come out there. What do you mean I gotta go to sleep? There's so much else out there to do. What are you talking about? I gotta sleep. I'm not ready for that. There's a new shop. I mean, right? Immediately there's a new shop? I think it's immediately there's a new shop, right? Give me just one second. I'm gonna go find that shop. Please. Okay, never mind. It's not set up yet. Alas. Alright. What do I need? Where do I need to still go? Boardwalk, shop, Hiram's. The thing is, so... The regular house, maybe? If I recall correctly, there was a location where there was a tear that I operated correctly, but I didn't have the shadow pliers at the time. There's a comment that mentions something along the lines of this as well, like a shadow pliable thing that I have not shadow plied yet. And I'm a little nervous, admittedly, at the idea of that existing. Let's go to the Crystal Dream Lake. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do in the other locations as well, but let's go to the Crystal Dream Lake first. So, okay, what do we do? Let's see, where at? Examine it. I'm not gonna let you start smoking. But I'm an adult. Yeah, I don't want you to live to be an old adult. But it'll make me look cool. Nothing is cooler than outliving your enemies. All right, fine. How do I smoke outliving my enemies? Okay. I have pet store. I know I need to go there. I'm gonna check a meat return slot and buy myself a cola. Hey, Greta. Hi. What are you selling? Pretty much just this big worm. A worm? I'm intrigued. You have every right to be. A worm is a valuable ally. Imagine a snake, except your enemies can't tell which end's the head and which end's the butt. They won't know if it's coming and growing. Can it poison things like a snake? No, but it's slimy and people hate that. Super gross. Just 150 to cover the paperwork and you got yourself a worm. You sold me, I'll take it. Excellent choice. Now you just need to give it a name. 100, excuse me. Wilford is not the name of this worm. The name of this worm is Wormthaniel. Thank you. Romthaniel, that'll do. I misspelled it, that'll... Romthaniel. There we go, Romthaniel. Romthaniel, huh? Okay, here you go. You got an item, Romthaniel. The worm deals stench damage to enemies. 2 muscle, 1 mysticality, 1 moxie, 5 max HP. This worm has no idea it owes its entire existence to you. Thanks, Greta. No problem. Anything else catch your interest? Tell me, what else you have? Unfortunately, I'm totally out of pets. I guess that's fortunate for the pets, though. I guess I have all the pets I need right now. So you're not selling... Oh, you're not selling the familiar chow? I wanted that. Dottie's boon here would be +1 to Moxie, which I do prefer. There you go, Dottie. What hills can we get up to? Yeah. I mean, I know there's a radio in the junkyard. That's one thing we can do. We can go to the distillery and try and refine our sample. Sounds like a great idea to me as well. I'm going to be doing both of those. This radio must be solar powered or trash powered. I used Rufus's gadget and I tuned the station to WGCR and hold Rufus's gadget up to it. The thing clicks a few times and the little needle on it goes up to 2. Then, time to head to the distillery. I'm gonna out-talk them. You are not vampires, you're actually different states of matter. Thank you for the wine. Okay. This used to be a still, and it still is. Hey, maybe you could use this thing to fix Rasmussen's fuel. I distill the wet fuel with a match. You light the still and dry out the fuel, you get distilled plain fuel. This is as dry as fuel can get and still count as fuel. We did it. Gotta bang on that drum every single time I come here. Otherwise, how will that drum get banged on? It's very important that it occurs. Crystal Dream Lake, anything else here? Not that I can immediately summon to mind. Yes, IT campus. Couple things there. I mean, if nothing else, I know that there is a radio downstairs. There it is. It goes up to 3. Where is another radio? I feel like there's going to be one in one of the frat houses. Oh no, I'm gonna have to fight the equations. They all got doubled! How dare they double? I didn't think that was doable. never mind. Got him. 11 experience and loose integers and a mechanical calculator for my efforts. Oh, this is an unattended barbecue here. I see. Oh, there we go. Rufus' gadget. You tune the radio to WGCR and hold up Rufus' gadget to it. The thing clicks a few times and then the little needle goes to 4. Then you restore the radio to the way you found it, making your mum proud. There's not... Yeah, there's not a toilet in here anywhere, is there? Go upstairs. I may not have fished it. Oh no, I had definitely fished in that toilet with the appropriate tool, the accursed fishing. Got it, all's good, let's go. I want to check out the other frats as well. A fraternity guy is tending to the barbecue here. I talked to him, he's concentrating pretty hard on his queuing. So I don't want to distract him from that. I think it's one of these. Sprig. Nope, don't need that boon. I keep my current instead, but I do pat Sprig. Okay, apparently it counts as patting to try and avoid them biting you. Okay, I could have sworn that I was going to have a new interaction with one of the people there. I schmoozed the math for 10 experience and find our way back to the stone area. Upstairs we find the fridge that we do not have the ability to open, the bowl of plum fruits, some kind of weird hovering rock. If there's a television, the channel's not particularly interesting. Well, is there any way I would be able to newly interact with this? It wasn't previously available to me. Not that I can think of. Not at all. Wind up monkey? Nope. Offhand item. Toilet cleaning rag? No. You know, I just don't think that one's for us. At least at the moment. Fish and chips? No. Back to the Boston? No, also probably not. Under the bridge, scalar and vector wings. Is there anything in my to-do list that's talking about SIT at the moment? Unusually smart rat. You know, maybe we should just continue Gordo's quest. Like, it can't just be an infinitely repeatable quest if it's constantly in here, right? They would give you the ability to clear it. There's a machine in the vector wing that has it. 17 meat. Beautiful, that'll help us pay for it. And what we're paying for again is 3 bottles of pork soda. Drink more soda. May I have a pork, please? Thank you. May I have another pork, please? Thank you. Now, may I have another pork, please? Thank you. And that's ghost pepper for me, and an ice for me, bone, Dorian, and then one more pork. Beautiful. Make sure that I've got one of each in addition to the ones that I have to give up. Just, oh, they are really powerful potions. Spooky armor, or they're elemental armors by 5. Okay, now that we've done that, it's time to go check out Gordo. A complicated SIT textbook. The cover of this textbook would be painted sky blue with clouds on it because it's way over your head. Sure, it's a deal, I'll buy it. 45.615 intermediate discrete acoustics. The cover of this text, it has the same description after we purchase it as from before. How's it going, Gordo?
Oh, you know, another day, another flashback to the atrocities of war. Did you bring my treat, pal?
Yeah, I got it right here. You got an item, Super Soldier Serum. Thanks.
Don't mention it, unless you decide you want more later, in which case, mention it.
You got it. Ah, I see. Okay, so we have the ability to re-up that quest basically each time. Got it. Then, that tells me it's time for us to leave to a new location. Let's go back to the Big Moist. and see if there's anything new about the notice board sign. There is not, unfortunately, but there is a plume of smoke nearby. Ugh! You've accidentally walked into right into a huge swarm of gnats and flies, and they're buzzing super loud, and actually they got a pretty good beat going. Are those tiny musical instruments? Oh, is that a locust with a fiddle? What's even going on? I joined them with my 7 moxie. You swing your hips and give the swarm a little of the old soft shoe and a jaunty whistle. The insects are super into it, despite the fact that you kill several of them every time you clap your hands. And when the show eventually winds to a close, they leave you a tip and buzz away. There's nothing amphibious about this truck. Black smoke billows from the cowl. That engine is cooked. I eat the engine. You can't eat something just because it's cooked. I eat the engine. It's far too large to eat. I eat the engine. It's just not possible to eat an engine. I eat the engine. It would kill you to even try. I eat the engine. Girding yourself against the overbearing heat, you wrench open the cowl and peer through the smoke, only to find that someone's beaten you to it. The engine's already being eaten. Or been eaten. Next chance I get, I'm eating an engine. Sure. I love gags like that in this game. And this series. The cab door hangs limply from its hinges. I pull it open. The truck has been abandoned for some time and there's nobody inside unless they're very small and very hiding. Are they? Small and hiding? No. I search the seats. A newspaper left on the passenger seat is open to the classifieds page. Circled are advertisements for Mr. Rat's Hotel for Working Women and The Docks. I take the paper. You don't need it. It's yesterday's news. I search under the seats rather. The gas tank is located underneath the driver's seat, which has the advantage of lowering the truck's center of gravity. This gas tank is empty, which has the disadvantage of the truck not working. You also notice a tiny glint of metal. A key! You got an item, small LB and S key. You found this in Largemouth Bass and Son's truck? Maybe. It opens the lock back home? And maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me, because after all, this is the end of the episode. My name is Rhapsody, the named game has been Shadows of Loathing. There is a playlist on the top left, series recommendation down below. In the next episode, we are going to return to Largemouth Bass and Sons and inquire every lock with our key. Both metaphorical and not. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, hopefully see you next time.